guys, it's Sam, and this is my August book haul, which is a combination of books I got for my birthday and books that I was sent. And it's a lot. It's 3 stacks on my desk right here. So let's just jump into it, shall we? But before we do, this video is being sponsored by Book of the Month. As many of you know, Book of the Month is an online subscription service for readers that focuses on introducing readers to new and emerging authors and just finding books that they'll love and helping people discover books that they'll love. Their team curates a selection of 5 to 7 books each month, and then you choose the books that you will get that month. But if there's a month where there's nothing you're interested in, you can skip a month risk-free anytime, no charge. Also, it's a really good deal for new hardcover fiction. You can get your first book from Book of the Month for $9.99 for a hardcover book with the code LEAVES. This month they had 2 picks that I was interested in. The first is Other Birds by Sarah Addison Ellen. This is a magical realism story. A woman goes to an island in like the Carolinas somewhere and gets to know like some of the people that are there, and then a murder happens and she discovers there's a bunch of like unfinished stories and things, but there seems to be some like magical elements. So I'm almost getting like a Gothic-ish, Southern Gothic vibe from this, which you guys know I love an atmosphere. And I love like sort of secluded place that's sort of atmospheric, an island, a forest, mountain, things like that. So this one definitely spoke to me. The second book is one of my most highly anticipated reads of the year, and that is Love on the Brain by Allie Hazelwood. I loved her first book, The Love Hypothesis. I'm excited about this. It's a woman in STEM romance. Quirky, cute. I hope there's pining. I'm excited. So something I enjoy about Book of the Month is they will frequently have titles that I do already know, such as Love on the Brain, but they also have titles that I discover through them, such as Other Birds. If you are interested in trying out Book of the Month for yourself, check the link down below and use the code. Let's get into all of the books that I received as gifts and things I received from publishers. I don't even know where to start. Okay, I kind of divided it up, so I'll go with my stuff I got as gifts for my birthday first. What's so great is I typically only really get books for my birthday and Christmas and stuff. That's what I ask for. So I get an influx of books, and that's like my TBR for the rest of the year, which is great. So first are 2 books that I was sent from my friend Kayla. The first is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed. Ava Reed is the author of The Wolf and the Woodsman, which is one of the first books, if not the first book that I read this year, and my first 5-star and one of my favorites of this year. So when this was coming out, I'm so excited. People say it's very dark, it's very atmospheric. It's a gothic horror retelling of like a fairy tale that I'm not familiar with. Then I cannot wait. This is gonna be so good. I should read this during spooky season. I might. The next book is a book I've had on my wish list for literal years. I think since like 2018 or before. And no one has gotten it for me. I've been ranking it as highest like for so long. But the reason I asked for this is because a publisher years ago sent me the final book in the series as it was coming out, and I was like, oh, I want to read that whole series, and I put it on my wish list and it just sat there. So I can finally start this series because I heard it's good and I will probably love it. And that is The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. This is the Queens of Renthia series. It's a fantasy series, an adult fantasy series. I believe there's some like spirit magic. I believe there's some like magical forest things happening. It's been so long, but it's been looming over my head as a series that I want to read. So now I have books 1 and book 3. I just need to get book 2, which maybe I'll buy myself. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna get to the series this year, but I'm excited. I mean, maybe I will. This looks like a fall book. I'm running out of time in the year. Anyway, thank you, Kayla. Oh no, I think I like didn't keep the little things. I actually did a live show unboxing a lot of the books that you guys got me because I posted my wish list for like literally half an hour and a bunch of people bought stuff off of it, which I wasn't quite expecting. I was thinking I was gonna get like 2 books. So that was really nice and surprising. So if you wanna know like who got me these, I'm so sorry I don't have all of the things. I know like maybe one of them, but it's in that video as far as like credit to the people that got me stuff, because I think I just threw out all of the boxes after I did that video. But the next was Kai K. I've never heard anyone pronounce his name. Vaishnavi Patel, I think. This is in a similar vein as like Circe or Ariadne or some of those books that retells a story of a female character with more agency from like a myth. This being the Ramaya, which is an Indian myth, I believe, and gives that character more agency and more of a part of the story and everything. So I've been hearing really good things about this. That vein of, again, The Witch's Heart, like all of those kinds of books are just a type of story that I really love, of like, let's flesh out a female character in particular who had very little agency or we know barely anything about, so that you can still sort of base it on quote unquote canon, but do so much more with it. That's what this is. Then we have A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. This is a YA, I believe it's a standalone. This is one that TikTok actually influenced me to buy. Someone randomly was talking about it. It's not even a TikTok hyped book, but this cover's gorgeous, and it's tea magic. That's all I need to know. It's tea magic. That's a really interesting, cool magic system. It's obviously gonna be based around like the culture of tea and things as well. So I'm really pumped about this one. Then I rounded out a series. I was gifted The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri, and then the publisher sent me The Olander Sword by Tasha Suri. This is a sapphic fantasy duology. I can tell you, I know basically nothing about this series just besides that it's gay and it's written by Tasha Suri. I was gonna read this series before it even came out. Tasha Suri, as you guys know, is one of my favorite authors. I loved her first books of Amba duology. She does romance and pining so well. They're not romance books, but she tends to have a heavy romance subplot. I adore her. So this, two warrior women in love, I'm assuming, maybe one's like, there's political intrigue. I don't know. I don't care. I'm excited. I also think that someone told me that there is like a magical forest element in these as well. So I cannot wait now that I finally have them. The fact that this came out and I didn't read it immediately was like a hate crime against myself. Like I must hate myself for that. I had it on my wish list. I was waiting for someone to get it for me because I try to not buy books when I have books in my TBR, but now I have it and I have the whole series and I'm so excited. I do know who got me these. It's Pixie from my Patreon. I think she got me something else possibly too, but I know she got me these for sure because she just reminded me recently on a Twitch stream. But volumes 4 and 5 of Monstrous by Sana Takeda and Marjorie Liu. I'm so excited. These I'm gonna read for spooky season. I'm gonna have a spooky season TBR coming up very soon, so I'm just telling you something that you're gonna find out shortly. Just kick the tripod, god damn it. But these are a continuation of the Monstrous graphic novel series, which is a dark, horror adjacent, Japanese folklore mythology inspired, female dominated graphic novel series. It's so good, but very dark, lots of body horror, very dark and twisty, but I love it. After these two, I'll almost be caught up. I mean, I think I have to read volume 6 and then 7 maybe out now, but I'm trying to catch up on the series. Then I got The Last Watch by J.S. Dawes. This is one of the first books that I was, again, influenced from Book Talk. When I discovered B-side of Book Talk, that wasn't all the popular books, and it was like SFF books and, you know, mostly adult books. That was when I started getting really good recommendations. This is apparently, I'm not sure if it's a trilogy or duology. I mean, it has a number on here, so it's gonna be more than one book. But people were talking about this as being a, like, sort of Mass Effect feeling sci-fi story. So like a sci-fi space opera, Mass Effect, following characters on like a ship. They're the galaxy's only hope. All of that. It's all I need. You tell me that a sci-fi book sounds like Mass Effect, it's all that I need. I'm gonna read it. Okay, this next round of books are all books that my mom sent me because my mom loves buying me books and she loves picking them because of pretty covers. The first is actually a nonfiction book that I've had in my TBR for a little bit that I've wanted to read as a witch, and that's The History of Magic. From Alchemy to Witchcraft, from the Ice Age to the Present by Chris Gosden. And this is a professor, I think he's a professor of like probably history or anthropology or something, it doesn't say what exactly, but he goes over like, again, the history of magic. So like magic and the belief in magic preceding science or religion, how religion's tied into it eventually, how like different practices throughout the world and throughout time. I'm so excited. Then my mom is a saint for this. She's a saint for this because you guys keep asking me about this series and I keep telling you I don't own it, and then she bought me the full thing. She got me the Live Ship Trader series by Robin Hobb. The second series in the overarching realm of the Elderlings. The first series is the Farseer trilogy that I finished up early 2020, I want to say, if not late 2019, and now I can continue with this. This is why I started even reading the Farseer trilogy, was to get to this series. And it's like, I started that in like 2017, and it's taken me this long, but now I have all three. So this will definitely be a series that I will read, if I don't start it before, although I have hope that I might start the first book in December, because there's going to be a tome topple in December. I snuck that in. Some of you are going to have this insider information, and some people won't even know. I don't know exactly when yet, but it's going to happen. So I might read the first book in December, but otherwise this will be a series that I finish next year in 2023. Can't believe I'm already making plans for 2023. Oh my god. And the last book she got me was The Final Strife, and I haven't heard this author's name as well because again I heard about it on TikTok and people use small sound bites and I don't hear people's names. I think it's Sarah El Arifi. Sarah El Arifi. I think. And this is the first book, I believe, in a series. Maybe it's a standalone, but I think it's probably a series. Aren't all book series these days? Fantasy book, I mean. And there's a set of trials that are about to begin to determine who is going to be the next ruler of this empire. They happen like every 10 years or so. Our main character was stolen by rebels as a child and now is going to enter into these trials, but now she's not sure if she actually wants to like rule or just like burn it all down. I've been hearing really good things about this. People have been talking about this. It's a very recent release and I've been hearing good things. Okay, then I have just a few books, actually a number, that were sent to me by publishers. The fall list that comes out, I think these are mostly all tour books. Are these all tour books? I think they are. The list that comes out in fall, like falls are really good for releases. So publishers come out and they're like, hey, here's some things we're offering. And I'm always like, damn it. And then I have to ask for a bunch of things. So the first is A Taste of Iron and Gold by Alexander Rowland. This is another one, TikTok influence. So I recently did a video talking about BookTok versus BookTube, and a lot of people in those comments were still saying they feel like BookTube's better, but I have been getting a lot of recommendations that I don't hear about on BookTube, on BookTok right now, me personally. Maybe my subscriptions on BookTube are just like not there anymore, and I'm not getting a lot of recommendations there, but a lot of these I'm getting recommended from BookTok now. My side of BookTok, not mainstream BookTok. Niche BookTok. But this is a fantasy, political intrigue, slow burn, MLM romance. And I've just been hearing really good things. I've just been hearing people say it's like super angsty, super slow burn, super good. So I don't know if it's like fantasy with a heavy romance subplot or if it's like full romantasy. I don't know, but like, did you see this cover? It looks really good. Sounds really good. All these sound good. All of these I'm excited to read. This goes without saying. This is what happens every time anyone films a book haul. We just talk about how good everything sounds. Then Tor.com was nice enough to send me all 3 of the Nevo novellas. I believe, yeah, this is the one that's gonna come out next. But I think it's this order. I think it's The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and then When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain, and then Into the Riverlands. And I think this was Nevo's debut, I wanna say. I have already read her Gatsby retelling, didn't love that for what it was, but I think this is gonna be more up my alley because this is more of like feminist high fantasy that was a little bit more low fantasy. It was a retelling. It takes place in an empire that's kind of like Imperial China, and it follows a royal who is married in for a political marriage type thing to the new emperor, and then a handmaiden who befriends her. And I think there's gonna be just like magical shit, you know? Like, I don't know, this looks like, is this gonna be like gods helping, because these are like gods that you see like in the sort of like Chinese zodiac? I don't know, but it looks good. Love a novella. I've been really enjoying novellas lately because of reading all the Hugo nominees. And I think Into the Riverlands will probably be nominated for a Hugo for next year. Then I was sent a book that I've been hearing a lot about on BookTube and BookTok. This was a book that was originally indie published and then it got picked up, I think, by Tor. Red Hook. Is Red Hook Tor? I do prefer the original cover. I wish they had kept the original indie cover, but I get that they make cover changes. That is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. And this is a sort of like Dracula retelling, reimagining, whatever, but it's told from the perspective of Dracula's wives. And it's supposed to be like, again, a feminist reimagining of the whole thing. So I'm excited. Gothic horror. Are we noticing a theme with the Gothic horror? I am. And lastly, Tor, again, kisses, shout out to Tor. They also sent me A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. Another book that I heard from, what? BookTok. Fantasy sci-fi BookTok is good BookTok. Quit hating on BookTok, okay? There's gems there. But this is a, I believe, high fantasy, follows almost like Byzantine politics. I don't know if this is more like historical fantasy or it's inspired by, but it's that political intrigue with a queer love story at the center. Again, MLM, so we're again noticing a theme here. But this is supposed to be very angsty, reluctant marriage, married for political reasons. One of the main characters was originally gonna marry the other main character's sister. Then everyone finds out that he likes men and they're like, well then marry the brother instead. And then they're like, shit. And they have to get married, but then they have to sort of like team up. So it becomes like, you know, political marriage to reluctant allies, to friends to lovers. Spicy. So yeah, that is all of the very many books that I got in the last month. So let me know which ones I should prioritize. I will be honest, the Gothic ones, the spooky adjacent ones are gonna be ones that you're gonna see show up on my spooky TBR, which will be coming later on this month because spooky season is upon us by September. September is the start of spooky season. I know some of you started in August. I am not that feral, it's too hot in August to start. It's hot in September too, but I can fake it. So comment below, let me know if there's any of these that you really would love to see me prioritize. Again, some of these I'll probably get to this year, some of them won't be until 2023, which it's ridiculous that we're talking about 2023 already. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.